not a trailer, but another property movie that was recently announced that we want to talk about is Sam Mendes, the director behind a couple of James Bond movies, is taking on the challenge to direct 4 Beatles biopics at the same time. Is that right?
I don't know if it's at the same time, but
I mean, to me, that would make sense, right? You get to use all 4 actors like at the same time for all 4 different biopics,
right? It would probably go that way,
right?
And I guess Apple, they own the stuff with the Beatles, and like this is apparently the first time that they've allowed a director to get full story, like song rights, all of that. So that's
nice.
This feels like it's happening, but I'm sorry. It is a movie. Each movie is one of the Beatles.
Right.
And I'm sorry. Is there actually enough story to like do that? Is anybody, and I love Ringo, but is anybody gonna be like, oh man, Ringo, the Ringo story? Like
no, like nobody, like yes, we love Ringo, but like, does anyone really care about Ringo? Like, in a sense, like I'm just saying he clearly had the least amount going on. He's had the least amount going on, like post-career Beatles.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think like specifically Paul, like John and George are interesting to follow, like post Beatles. I think that would be like a very interesting part of the story. But yeah, I feel like we would, and maybe everyone's experiences are like so different that it feels like you could get a different biopic out of this.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what they're going for. Like maybe like certain scenes will like play out in different ways because it's a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I'm hoping it's going to be like, and they
take artistic liberties like that.
Yeah, right. And I hope it's like pulled off really well, and I hope that there's like very cool, interesting ideas. And I've thought about like, what if there was a movie where like each sequel is like a different character and we base it off their perspective, and then we see the events play out in a different new way.
Right.
That is an interesting, cool idea. If it can be done, I don't know. Because like how many times it needs to be interesting enough each time around that when similar
when the 4th movie comes around, I actually give a shit.
When like a potentially the same events happen, we need to still like be interested by them.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like maybe it'll be like they only touch on certain events in one movie and then they touch on another event in the other movie. And I'm assuming maybe the Ringo movie will be like a lot more funny and lighthearted. Yeah. And then the George movie will be like, oh, they never let me write my songs and I'm going to show them. And then,
well, at least, here's the thing. I think at least with Ringo's, you're going to have a different start of the movie because I know he was the last member to join. Like they had a different drummer originally, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, yes, I agree. I think it'll be more funny. I think you'll get to see a lot of like his artistic side in it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I think
they definitely do not lead with Ringo though. Like I feel like they lead with either Paul or John.
Yeah, it's got to be Paul or John. It's probably going to be John, to be honest.
I think it would be Paul.
Yeah, I just feel like everyone looks at John as like he was the front man of the Beatles. I get that John and Paul were like Paul sang a lot. He had a lot of like written songs, but like it was John, like he was the guy.
I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, man.
I think it's weird. Some people will say like John was the front man. I oftentimes like see Paul as like the front man.
Yeah, and he has a lot of times where he is. I just feel like the majority of their just maybe, and it's not like it's a crazy amount of like more than Paul, but I do believe that John had more frontman moments than Paul did.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, that either one they'd be good at like starting off with. But I just think like, no, we couldn't just do for potentially like the biggest band in the world. We couldn't just do one movie or break it up into 2 movies to tell the story. We have to have a movie for each. And by the way, like this is either an hour and a half
It better be an hour and a half
to 2.5 hours.
I'm not sitting through
each
4 2-hour movies. Like even like that's just and here's the thing. Like, do you think they all come out at the same time? Do you think it's like 3 months apart each from each other and they all come out in the same year?
Or like for 4 years we just get a new Beatles movie?
Yeah, that would be a drag, to be honest. Like like I think I would rather like all come out in like 1 year or 2 years or like all at the same time. I don't know.
It's
waiting a year each time would be rough.
It's probably like they'll do it for 1 year where each movie is probably 3 months apart, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like do people go and see the fourth one, or are they just tired at that point? Like
depends on how well it's done. I mean, this is like a big decision to like.
Is it going to be is it going to be in theaters? Like, do we know that yet, or is it going to be like straight to streaming?
It's all they've said is that it's being like they've okayed it and like they're gonna do it. You know.
Okay. Well.
And you know, Sam has made Skyfall, which love Skyfall.
Really good.
He's made Spectre, not as good.
I also say it's really good.
That's a take.
I like Spectre, man.
But he's also made 1917, and that's movie
a great one.
Fucking rules.
That's better than both of those movies. So
it might be better than both those movies. Yeah. And so like I think he's a great director. So I'm hopeful that these movies are gonna be good. And I love the Beatles. So, like
hard not to.
But I think it's just a wild idea. First of all, like in a time where Dune didn't get to be made altogether, which would have probably been more financially, safe in some ways,
right?
Instead of doing just a part 1 and a part 2. But a studio is okaying like 4 movies of the same thing to like it's just.
I don't think this has happened. I think the last time this probably happened was like The Hobbit, right? Because I think they made all those at the same time, just like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been about a decade since we got in a project, and it's way less. It's way more grounded. So probably not going to be as much for the studio to make.
Or will it be? What if it's going to be like
very like a visual kind of masterpiece? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Like what if it's a bit more like Elton John Rocket Man, where it's like more music video than movie in a way.
Right.
Like I don't know. But
we'll see what Sam Mendes does.
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, for sure.